it's Michael Levine, Executive Director of the Mid-Coast Symphony Orchestra, welcoming you back to Backstage with the MSO. Tonight we're going to be talking about the romantic pieces that are part of our next concert. Being a theater guy, I appreciate the excessive drama and emotion of these pieces. It's quite wonderful to listen to, very stirring, very powerful, and we have a wonderful guest conductor, Hiroya Miura, who will be also talking about his experiences conducting this piece. Looking forward to it. Let's get started.
Hi, I'm Hiroya Miura, and I'm guest conducting this upcoming concert. This is my fourth time working with Mid-Coast Symphony, and it's always a pleasure working with this special group. I'm amazed at how dedicated and passionate people are with this ensemble. And the program is inspired by the theme of fire. So we will open with Prometheus by Liszt. And then we'll probably go to the most fiery Schumann Symphony of all, which is the Second Symphony. And then Coleridge Taylor's Wonderful Ballad. And then we conclude by Firebird. And all of these pieces are quite challenging, but the orchestra is really coming along, and I'm super excited.
It's always great when we have a guest conductor rehearse and perform with the Mid-Coast Symphony, because it just feels really healthy for the orchestra to work with someone who has a completely different style than what we're attuned to. I believe this is our third time working with Hiroya for a concert, and what he brings to us is a very precise and calm expertise. He of course always conveys an incredible understanding of the music, and he's absolutely lovely and wonderful to work with. So I'm always really happy about the opportunity that is provided to the orchestra to try a new conductor. And then when Rowan comes back to us in April and May, we're thrilled to work with him again.
Hi, I'm Paul Greenstone. I play bass with the Mid-Coast Symphony, and it's a great program. We're doing this list that's got a bass part that I lose 3 pounds a night practicing, and it's really good. And then there's the Firebird Suite, and the Firebird Suite is one of the greatest pieces of music ever. I love where the basses come in at the beginning. You might notice at a concert that we actually tune our lower strings down so we can play these lower notes that the piece starts out on. And then somehow in the middle of the piece we have to tune it back again. It's really hard. But listen for the ending part, because I'm a tuba player too. And at the end, the tuba player leads one of the greatest finales in all of music. I can't wait.
I am really excited for our concert coming up. We've got some great romantic era pieces, the Prometheus Overture by Franz Liszt, Schumann's Second Symphony, and I absolutely love the Romantic period. I've often thought about, there's some schmaltzy, cheesy stuff out there, and what's the difference between really emotional music and the schmaltzy, poppy stuff? And I really think it's the sincerity behind it. And I think you can really hear that in the music, especially the Romantic era and some of the things that we'll be featuring at this concert. So really hope you enjoy.
What I really like is variety, and this concert has it, certainly. Another thing I like is being acquainted with composers that I was less familiar with. I know almost nothing about Schumann and Liszt, so it's a pleasure to play a couple of their pieces. Coleridge Taylor, I thought he was a poet, but as a composer, he's fun to play and going to be fun to listen to. And of course, what can you say about Stravinsky?
So music written in what we call the Romantic style was written usually between 1810, 1820, and the late 19th century into the early 20th century. And some people, film music, is still written very much in that style, or can be. And what happened in that century was that orchestras got hugely bigger. So before about 1800, The orchestras were strings and a couple of oboes, possibly flutes, sometimes clarinets, often bassoons, one set of timpani. And by the end of the 19th century, you've got orchestras of 80, 90, 100 people with a full range of percussion and all kinds of brass instruments and extra wind instruments and so on and so forth. So the sound is just much, much bigger, and the opportunities to make really different colors is much greater in the Romantic period. So one thing I like about playing Romantic music is that I get to listen to the brass and the winds and the percussion much more than I do when I'm playing earlier music. And also technically the music is harder. It's not musically harder to play, but just in terms of getting around the instrument, it's often a lot harder than the early music is.
So can you describe a little bit how the trombone differs between the different eras of classical music that you play?
Well, a lot of the earlier music, and by early, trombone doesn't have much to do with Baroque and not even classical to an extent. So early Romantic and so forth. It's a lot of chordal emphasis, background for the most part, but I say background is quite loud sometimes. And this era of music, you often have the trombone parts written in the three different clefs for alto, tenor, and bass. The alto clef is sometimes, which is the first trombone part, is sometimes expected to be played by an alto trombone, which I happen to be playing in the rehearsal tonight. And tenor clef is the second trombone, and bass clef, of course, is the bass trombone. But moving on past the Romantic period, you get into more contemporary stuff, and that's just whatever it calls for. It could be just about anything. And the trombone parts become a little bit more hectic, a little bit more filling,